Okay, so I've just started Onward. This is where you set it up if you haven't played before. Screen on. So for this game, just like any other game, pretty much the most important button is this Oculus button. You can't see my fingers, but the little Oculus logo button that's down on your right hand, down by your thumb, below the toggle button. If you hold that down, it will re-center you in the screen. So that's what that little loading thing that comes up on the screen. This button. So when you click that the lowest button, you will recenter. So depending on where you're standing in your play area, you're going to want to have that set up where you're facing whatever makes you happy. If you're in this game, you don't move around too much. Mostly, it's just rotating, so it doesn't matter. But if you do want to move around sideways or front to back, you want to be centered in the play area in whatever way you want. If you're facing forward, you can do that. So start the thing. Say I'm left-handed. I am 6 foot. Set. And I like default. So snap the turn. You can push a button on your toggle switch, and it will shift your vision. I'd rather play as immersive as possible, so I use the default, which is I have to actually turn my body and my head to be able to look. I would recommend that pretty much all the time. If you like to play snap turn, you can try it out, but I would always do default, because this is sort of like I feel like it's more fun and more immersive for this game, but feel free to do whatever you want. So sidearm, you want to do hip. You'll see later when we're in it, but all your magazines and stuff are on your chest, and your grenades are on your chest, and your radio is on your chest. So adding also a gun, there's just more stuff there to grab. So if you're trying to grab a magazine really fast, you might accidentally grab your gun, or if you want to grab your gun, you might accidentally grab a grenade. And so it's best to just do hip, and that way it's just further out of the way, and you're less likely to hit stuff. Although when you pick stuff up off the ground, you are more likely to accidentally grab that gun. So that is something to be aware of. So at first it might be frustrating, but long term it's okay. So this is just the intro tutorial. So you have so not the flashing one, the B button next to it. You can push that at any time and leave, and that's true for in the games too. So if you're in a game and you push the B button, a thing will pop up, you can see, and you can click that and escape. So wherever you're at, that's how you can leave the game. Or you can push the Oculus and then you'll be quitting the app. So if you just want to leave a game, that's how you do it. Okay. So, rifle. So, grab it with this guy. I guess it's button. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. If you follow along and don't skip through it, I'm going a little fast because I know how to play the game. But you can grab it. Okay. Now to reload. Push the X button. So, you pulled that button. Push that button, the magazine falls out, and you can see also that the slide is open right here, so you can actually see. So if I push the wrong button in the tutorial, it might not take. I'll do another video in the shooting range. But so when I my trigger hand on the gun, you can do either. Actually, I don't even think you can do it. Yeah, you have to have your trigger hand on the gun. Push the B button, the magazine falls out. Grab a magazine, put it back in. You see the chamber is open. You can see the magazine from here. And then you push this magazine button to close it. And you can grab it back on. So to holster it, yeah, just put it on your chest. So I think it just wants me to reload this one. So you hold that same B button, or the X button. Hold the X button. Grab the magazine with the grab button. Throw it away. Put it in a new one. Okay, sidearm. So, I don't know why it's... guess I can't read. So what you want to do for this one is saying that this trigger, if you're not holding anything, it acts as like the adjustment button. So when I pull this trigger down, I can move the slide back like in a gun to reload it. So if I shoot it and there's nothing in the gun, then when I put a new magazine, if I pull the trigger, everything happens. So I need to use that trigger button, slide it back, and let go. And if you use the grab button or something, it won't work. You have to use it. Same for guns too. And then when it locks back, then you can use the same button as you did before, the more forward button, which in this case is the Y button. Push the Y button and it closes. So that is you need to use it. So you put it back, you just let it go in the spot. So now is for the radio, and I think the radio is always with your knife. You can usually see your knife. I don't know if you can see it in this screen, but this is where the knife is going to be. So I hold down that trigger on the radio over my shoulder. Sometimes a little finicky. I usually put it on my trigger hand shoulder because it tends to be more forward. My other hand holding the, I don't know, when I go for it, I seem to hit it more regularly. So I usually do that, and then you do the cross hand. Here's a syringe. It's here. It's tricky to put on and off. Sometimes I have to do it. But you gotta get used to it. Eventually you can get it. So when you grab the grenade, it's the same. I don't know what the button. Oh yeah. So I can push the button. Nothing happens now. If I take my trigger finger, it's the same action as cocking the slide on a pistol or cocking the slide on a rifle. I take that, I pull the pin out. Now it's still encased, so it's still got the handle on it. If I push that button now, the top handle will pop off. Now I have 5 seconds before it blows up. So that's the deal. So now here's the knife. Grab the knife. Yeah. So I double adjust this, but yes, if you can accidentally stab someone and hurt them. So on your team, which you don't want to hurt anyone on your team. Okay, so the tablet. You have a tablet on your back. You can see it there. And you can grab it that way. I grab it up behind my neck. I grab the top of my, like the back of my neck, and then it works. So on the tablet, you can see it says code, send code. There's a white dot. These things move. So it also tells you sort of the angles. So that way is north. It'll be useful in maps to know which way and which is north. So for now, we're going to go to this dot and we're going to send the code. So go to the dot, send here. So this device here is what sends the code. And so if you play Uplink or Assault, which are 2 different game modes, the big objective is to get to the and send it. Most of the time you end up just, the teams just end up battling and killing each other until no one's left. But if you send the code, you actually get 2 points for your team, in which, no, it doesn't really matter unless you're playing more seriously, but it is better to send this if you can. So to send the code, there's 2 options. You can click send code, and you have to type it in, but we're not there yet. So click back, click code, 3061989. So go in here, 3068. Okay. 3061989. 3061989. Oh, it stays in here, that's nice. But you can't go back. 30, 61, 98, 9. Click send. And then you send the code, and that would usually win the game. If you play Assault, I believe that it has to send for a certain amount of time. So now it wants me to put I think it wants me to put it away. So I put it away the same way. I put it over my back, onto my back. And then it'll be good. So that is the tutorial. So I will do a practice. because it's part of the tutorial. I guess I would recommend that you do it. It does not tell you a lot of the features. So this is what a normal room looks like when you log into a playroom. This is like the lobby. So behind you is if you want to leave. I never use the recenter button because I always use that Oculus button on my controller, and it tells you what map you're on. So in front of you, there's a helmet. Sometimes there's, depending on what you're playing, there's going to be two. For now, there's only one. Grab it with that grab button, put it on. If for practice, it already has it set. Rookie, there's 4. I don't know if it will want me to make a loadout. It will want you to make a loadout. So this is, I guess, a bit tricky. So there are 4 roles to choose. When you first start, just pick rifleman. In this game, the guns don't really matter. It's usually for a rifle, it's 1 or 2 bullets to get killed. With a pistol, it's 3 bullets to get killed. The gun type really doesn't matter. It's more just like how well you play, how well you hide, how well you see someone. So pick rifleman first. Learn with that. The other ones have their uses, but really, I pretty much always play rifleman, or I'll play support sometimes now. But you won't play rifleman first until you get fairly competent. So click rifleman, click loadout 1. So it'll start with this. This is fine gun. I always play with the AK-5C. So you have a certain amount of points to get. In this, you can use 18 points, which is a ton, but when you actually play, if you play against other people, you get 9. So the points matter, so this is only worth +1, and like the guns actually don't matter. So like the cheapest gun is good. You play with this, or you can play with this. That would be my recommendation. Everyone pretty much plays with this, even like the professional players. So pick that. I do the holographic sight. You can see it pops on here. You can't touch the gun on here, which would be nice to be able to pick it up and maneuver it and see what it looks like. You cannot do that in this mode. So pick holographic sight, and then when you're done, you can click off screen, or I think you can click back. So primary attachment, always grab a foregrip. This is probably the most important thing. If you have a foregrip, it makes it so much more steady. If you don't have a foregrip, the gun will just keep rising and you will not be able to hit the target. So make sure you have a foregrip. That's very important. And for rounds, pretty much always use full metal jacket. Armor piercing works, but it's only on body armor, which is in the chest. It's pretty much useless. Tracer, if you play in games, they will see where you're shooting from. Leave it regular. For a sidearm, I wouldn't change it. I mean, if you're playing around, then you can put like a G17 or something and have a good time. But if you play against people, you will never use the pistols unless you have to. And have to would be a game like Gun Game where it's your only weapon. So for primary attachment, I wouldn't waste points on it. For here, you can deck it out if you want, but when you actually play, you won't be. So explosives, maybe grab a flash grenade, maybe grab a frag grenade. You don't necessarily need these, and in the game, I wouldn't do this. I would probably just do a flash or one smoke. And then for equipment, I would do, if you're new, do body armor. It literally just protects your chest, so you'll still die easily. And if you get shot, twice in the chest instead of once in the chest, you'll die. But that one bullet sometimes can make a difference. And if you play with your friends, I'd grab an extra syringe. But if you play against the robots, but if you don't play against robots, I wouldn't need them. So sorry, this is take a long time. But this is the loadout I would use. So click confirm. It's down, underneath you. So most people miss that because you're looking up here and you don't know, well, okay, how do I go? It's down. I wish they had a level up. Now you can start, and you're good to go. Oh wait, okay, one thing. So when you're not ready, you will get a red dot over here. And then when you click confirm, it changes to green. So when you have a lobby full of people, if your name is red, it means you need to click ready up, and people are probably waiting on you. And if other people are red, then you know that they're waiting. So click start, and let's do this. Let's finish up the tutorial. Okay, so I am out here now in, this is Bazaar. So I have the gun. A few things that they don't tell you, maybe I don't have to worry about them now, but you can push, if you push the thumbstick of this hand while you're holding it, it will change from fully automatic. Push it to semi-automatic. I'm holding the trigger down and I'm only getting one shot. So when you play against robots, you can do semi-auto, but when you play against people, you will only want to do automatic pretty much. Because, so I'm reloading. I hear people coming. You can hear in this game. You can hear them coming a long ways away. So people. So I'm moving with my thumbstick. Now, one thing you want to be aware of is that if you want to sprint, first it's going to start. You're going to click the button down to run on the hand. So I'm running with this hand, with this thumbstick. So when my hand is up, you run slower. When it's down, you go a little faster, and when you click, you run. But if I'm up and I click and I run, not really anything happens. So I adjust this in the settings. I don't really like how this feels. I hear. Okay, so that's just the tutorial. And this, it might be, yeah, that's it. So that's a tutorial. I'm going to do a video going through what to do when you first start, going through the settings, and then I'll do a video of how to set up your guns to actually play the game. So click continue, and this will let you play again if you want. Practice. I wouldn't. I would go in and go through the shooting range first. So I would exit, and then I would change your settings.